Good evening. Did I just get huffed? Good evening. Hopefully it's better for you than it is the dog. She's disgruntled that I'm doing the show. As usual, it's a normal night. Anyway, again, I hope you all are doing well. Kind of a crazy day seeing things unfold up in Canada. And Doug Ford is the guy's name. I can't remember his exact position just off the top of my head. But he's one of the higher up people. He had made a statement today, and I don't have the video of it available just offhand to play it. But made I'm going to call it a big turnaround on his attitude towards all of the stuff, at least regarding vaccines and COVID and stuff like that. And it was a remarkable change in attitude, if you will. And the chief of Ottawa resigned. So, and I don't know the fine details of what happened with that. But it is a remarkable development in all of this. Hang on just a second. She's being ornery. Nothing unusual there either. So anyway, the chief resigned, and I don't know if he resigned. The article that I had read said that he essentially like bullied people, like he was an ass. I'll just say it. I don't know. It's I can't trust because that was that CBA or whatever it is, Canadian news that I read that in, and I already know I can't trust what they say. So who knows what they're saying is true? All I know, the only thing that I am confident in is that the chief resigned. That's about it. Without hearing a statement directly from the chief, and making sure there's not like guns pointed at him. No, I would like to know what he's got to say about the matter. So. And I think he was supposed to speak on it. I don't know if he's already done that or if he's going to. The United States, they are still working on organizing, and it looks like they're starting to really kind of get some things put together. Today I put out a video where they had given some updates. And I can't remember the exact name of the pilot association, but there's a pilot association that's kind of joining forces with them, and it looks like they're pushing forward. And so People's Convoy let me make sure I'm very clear on this. thepeoplesconvoy.org, thepeoplesconvoy.org. That is where you can go and get the information. They also have the official Facebook page linked right there from the home page. So if you want to be able to easily link up, at least for the time being, and keep up on updates, you can get that Facebook page right off thepeoplesconvoy.org. So I don't know. All we can do is sit back and see all day the Telegram chat rooms, or whatever you want to call them, Telegram groups, whatever. The ones that I am in have been locked down all day. So nobody's been able to say anything. I know in one of the rooms there, apparently the group chat where we all normally did chat, apparently somebody went in and installed an anti-spam bot and has been working with settings and stuff, but the channel's been down for much of the day. Well, actually the whole day. But it is what it is. I'm sure that they are securing communications. I don't know if Telegram is going to continue to be a method of communication of theirs. I'm sure, here's the thing. Here's the most important thing. They've got a website. And always remember that. Even if we were to disappear off of YouTube, just poof, right? Remember, the WatchmanNews.com. And if we just go poof, if YouTube would just wipe us off the face of their platform, I would just simply tell everybody to go to the WatchmanNews.com. We'll have updates of where to go and what to do there. So I do have backup accounts. I've got Rumble. I've got Odyssey. I've got options, and they're already there. I think it is Odyssey automatically takes my shows. So for going back years, Odyssey has got a copy of our shows right here. Even the ones that have been removed and we've gotten in trouble for. So, it is what it is. Anyway, I also want to thank Newsmax for not chopping my head off, because two of the clips that I have posted of the news interviews with the U.S. convoy have been from Newsmax. Now, I've made sure to credit them as the source in the description of the video. But I got popped on both of them today, which I could care less because I'm not getting anything. I'm shadow monetized, remember? It all looks good on my end, but I ain't getting a penny. And that's for anything I do. So, whatever, I don't know. So, hopefully they are. I hope somebody does. It's not important to me. So, but anyway, I don't have a lot of updates because now, all of the chatter, if you will, has been disabled. And so we're just, kind of waiting and seeing what happens. Like I said, I don't know what's going to happen with the Telegram rooms. I have no idea. And I'm sure that, the only information that I'm 100% relying on is the information at this time that I'm seeing on their website and their official Facebook page. Because right now, that's the two methods that I know that I can get, the correct information. So, and I would recommend the same for you. But, so what's up? What's next? If you were to ask me when it comes... Now, I can't tell you anything on the U.S. Other than I'm sure they'll continue to organize. I'm sure that the government will come up with something to try to prevent it before it starts. It's a wait and see. If you were to ask me about Canada, I'm telling you, just today, that police chief resigning and that about face from Doug Ford, to me, that was pretty monumental. So we may be seeing a slide away from whatever you want to call the nonsense that's going on, at least in Canada. I have noticed that in the United States, it also seems like there's kind of a scurry to, in some places, lighten up the measures. So I find this very interesting. I think nations around the world are starting to get the point, because there were other nations too, that was in Europe and stuff, that just automatically started pulling away the restrictions and whatever. So anyway, I do got some tabs open. Not a whole lot to do with the convoys. A lot of stuff to do with the Russia stuff, and that's either we've got a false flag coming, or it's a distraction, and or both. So, like I always tell people, make sure you keep your vision wide when it comes to news and information, because if you don't, something could sneak up on you. And so I don't want to focus too much on just the, say, convoy stuff or just the Ukraine stuff, because the moment you do that, the other one's going to bite you. So Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pop over Illinois. I did have this article here that came out, or well, I noticed it right before I did the show here. Illinois school mask mandate blocked by legislative committee. So this is Illinois. Says a legislative committee has suspended statewide COVID-19 mitigation measures across Illinois. A committee voted 9-2 to suspend a statewide mask mandate at both public and private schools. The vote stops a mask mandate that had been issued by Governor J.B. Pritzker. A circuit court in Springfield had previously issued a temporary restraining order against the mandate, but several districts in the Metro East said it only applied to the families who sued. So it says Pritzker says the mask mandate will end at the end of February, but schools are not included. Due to the vote, schools will be mask optional starting Wednesday. So, and I do know that a friend of ours, I was talking to her today. She drives a school bus. She drives a school bus, and there was a student that she would pick up that she would drive by where we live. And anyway, I guess that student is no longer taking the bus because the parent disagrees with it being optional now. So, but I'm sure, especially here, I'm sure those cases are probably few and far between. So, but it's just it's insane. Some people need to be protected, no doubt. There are people that are high risk and should probably be protected. But you're not going to protect them by locking down the world. You're only going to destroy the world. You're still not going to be protecting them unless they are the ones that's taking whatever actions that they need to take in order to not get sick. I mean, it's like self-defense, right? Self-defense is your own right. You don't inherently have the right for somebody else to protect you. So you should never give up that right. I don't know. To me, it just makes sense. Anyway, remember how they just recently said that all the big deal with the dealerships having to shut down or whatever was because of the blockade. Oh well, no, now it's back to the chip shortage. Don't worry. It's already back to the chip shortage now. It's that fault of that. Says U.S. automaker Ford said on Monday it will put production on idle at some of its assembly plants this week amid global chip supply constraints. The company's Ohio assembly plant and the production line for the transit van at its Kansas City facility will be halted while work will continue with reduced shifts at its Kentucky, Chicago, and Dearborn truck assembly plants, spokeswoman Kelly Felker said in an email to Reuters. It said last week Ford already suspended or cut production at 8 plants in the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. On February 4th, the company said that current quarter would be low on production amid the lingering global semiconductor crisis, with higher output volumes expected to return no sooner than the second half of 2022. Yikes! And I don't know that it's going to come back then, right? And I don't know that it's really entirely because of a chip shortage. I really don't know. I just get this feeling that we're being limited. I just have this feeling that we're being limited. I don't think that there's necessarily an actual natural shortage. I'm not buying it. It just happened. I know we had issues for a bit. I get it. We did have issues for a bit. Stuff was shut down and all that. But to continue going into this shortage on the level that it is, especially with some of these huge products like cars, to me, that's a little bit, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. So, anyway, because, if they wanted to protect these industries, they would do everything in their power to acquire whatever they needed to protect those industries. They've done it before. Look at TARP, right? When they bailed out the banks. They'll do anything to help their buddies. But, oh well. Anyway, Trudeau's use of Emergencies Act threatens civil liberties, says a rights group. I'm not going to go deep into this one, but yeah. And it's crazy because essentially this is a group of largely liberals that are saying this. So I think a lot of people are uneasy. A lot of people across political lines are uneasy with a lot of what's going on now. I think that there are several liberals that are against the mandates and stuff like that, and even more so against what it is that Trudeau is doing. I mean, he is really overreaching what he should be doing. I mean, it's insane that he's willing to go through everything that he's gone through and not just simply sit down and even have one conversation. And the reason why is because their demands has been clear from the beginning. And Trudeau don't want to give in to that. And it's absolutely insane. And I get it. There are some news outlets, and I don't know if this is official or not, but there are some news outlets that say that originally the truck drivers wanted just the mandates and stuff dropped, and then now it's expanded into they want Trudeau to step down. And I don't know if officially that's true. I don't know that that's officially true. But I mean, damn, I do kind of think he ought to step down. I mean, this is you know what? This is the way that Trudeau is dealing with this trucker issue is just as bad, in my opinion, with the exception of lives being lost. I mean, I understand, but it's just as much of a screw up as what Biden's exit out of Afghanistan was. In a different way. I'm not saying lives have been lost, at least not yet anyway. However, Trudeau has been handling this absolutely horribly. I don't know. And I don't know what answers are for Trudeau. I mean, I can't tell you what he even could possibly be thinking, because I couldn't imagine being in the mindset of being okay with any of this crap, no less calling for it. So, yeah, no help there. Ottawa police chief resigns amid Freedom Convoy pressure. He talked about that. Have a sip of coffee. Yep, I'll go ahead and read a couple paragraphs. It says Ottawa police officer Peter Slowly, and I don't know if that's how it's pronounced or not, has resigned amid criticism of the force's handling of ongoing Freedom Convoy trucker-led protests against federal COVID-19 vaccination mandates in the Canadian capital, local media said on Tuesday. He is expected to formally announce his resignation following a police board meeting on Tuesday, CBC News reported. Ottawa City Councillor Riley Brockington tweeted about the surprise resignation, which comes a week after Slowly said he had to go. He had no plans to step down despite mounting pressures from both the federal and local governments to evict the protesters. According to CTV News, Ottawa Mayor Jim Watson had given Slowly a vote of confidence on Monday, agreeing with the chief's request for more resources from the provincial and federal governments. And says here the outlet reported that the city residents have grown increasingly angry with the police response to the protests, which have dominated the downtown area of the capital. I'll tell you what. I say that I don't know any good answers on Trudeau. He doesn't have a good answer here. It's time to be real with your people. It's time to quit lording over your nation. That is insane to me. That is absolutely insane to me. But that's what these people are. They've got to be psychopaths. They've got to be psychopaths. These people in charge. But anyway, you have another sip of coffee, and we'll kind of change gears here, and the rest of what I've got's dealing with the Ukraine nonsense, and I'm probably going to move through these pretty quick, and then just get to the headlines, because, like I say, I don't know if this is a false flag in the waiting, or if this is just a distraction. But what I don't believe it is a Russian invasion. That's the one thing I don't think it is a Russian invasion. But, I don't in any way remotely think it's an invasion. But we'll see, because, sometimes things happen, and they get blamed on people that didn't do it. But, nonetheless, it sparks something off. Just happenstance. Let's see. U.S. issues urgent Belarus warning. The U.S. government has urged American citizens to leave Belarus immediately, pointing to an alleged Russian military buildup near the country's border with Ukraine amid repeated predictions of an invasion by Moscow. So, it just says the State Department issued an updated travel advisory on Monday evening, warning citizens to avoid travel to Belarus due to the arbitrary enforcement of laws, the risk of detention, as well as an unusual and concerning Russian military buildup along Belarus border with Ukraine. So, and then I'll add to it, U.S. citizens in Belarus should depart immediately via commercial or private means, it added. So we're hearing this, in all the neighboring countries, and it seems to me, and I'm going down these articles as they came out. So the last one that we come up to will be the last article that came out on this matter. Now the events could have happened in a different order. I'm doing this in the timeline of the articles. So. But a lot of this stuff just doesn't add up for some kind of imminent invasion, right? Here it says Russia prepared to fire missiles at foreign ships, says senior official. And I think that this is just basically being stated in defense. They're not threatening that they're going to offensively attack anybody for not doing anything wrong. I think they're just saying they're going to protect their territorial waters, and I'm pretty sure they've got a right to do that. Here it says Russia announces troop withdrawal, and this is kind of strange, but we'll see. It goes back, and it's nuts. Russian troops have completed their training drills in Belarus, close to neighboring Ukraine, and will begin returning to their places of regular deployment. The Ministry of Defense in Moscow has announced amid fears in the West that the exercises could have been a precursor to an invasion. Major General Igor, Konashikov, I've got to try to get this. Man, I can't do that. Konashikov. Oh, I give up. I don't know an ounce of Russian. The chief spokesperson for the ministry delivered the news in a video released by military chiefs on Tuesday. See, I thought I could get it if I worked at it, but no dice. As the forces complete their military exercises, they will, as always, complete a multi-modal march back to their permanent bases. The general guy, whatever his last name is, stated The divisions of the South and West military districts have finished their task and have already begun loading the rail and automobile transport, and today will begin moving back to their military garrisons. So, it was just a drill. And I do believe it was probably just a drill. And so, anyway, and this is kind of, I don't think this headline was quite this particular way when I looked earlier. But anyway, the headline now is Russia sends hypersonic missiles to Syria. It's not like they sent them there to station them there. They just, they're flying drills with nuclear armed aircraft. And they landed at Syria to refuel and whatnot. So, not a big deal. It's like we do the same kind of stuff all the time. Not a big deal. Ukraine contradicts U.S. on Belarus plan. This just says a Russian invasion of Ukraine via Belarusian territory is an impossibility due to several geographical factors, the Ukrainian defense minister claimed on Monday, contradicting a scenario proposed by the U.S. last month. Now, you hearing this? This is a Ukrainian defense minister that is saying this. Not, it makes no sense what the U.S. is doing. And I should add to that what the U.S. media is doing. Anyway, speaking to ICTV, Oleksiy Reznikov stated that the American theory, first floated by Senate Department spokesman Ned Price, would be too complex for the Russian military to pull off. Price suggested that troops could enter Kiev in just a couple of days by coming across the border with Belarus rather than invading directly from Russia. He said, I honestly and frankly say I do not believe in this scenario, Reznikov stressed. Don't forget that we have 1,000 kilometers of border with Belarus, of which about 750 kilometers is marshes, brushwood, very difficult terrain. Not every place is easy to cross. Our defense system is built in such a way that no one can reach Kiev, he continued. So, I find that hard to believe when you're talking about Russia versus Ukraine, but nonetheless, I don't think it's Russia's intent to do that to Ukraine. Otherwise, they would just do it, right? Russian invasion not on the cards, says a Zelensky ally. Somebody else saying that, no, I don't believe that that's what's going on. And again, these aren't Russians that are saying this. It's to the point now. It's just you have no idea what you're being told is actually accurate. You have no idea. It says West has doubts over Russian troop withdrawal from Ukraine border. So, like I say, even though that they said that they were pulling out, I know that there was video that was put out earlier that showed some of their stuff pulling out. But, they know. I mean, it's not like they don't have spycraft. It's not like they don't have satellites. They know what they're doing. So, I think a lot of it's ridiculous. I really do. But anyway, I'll read a couple paragraphs of this. And it says, Western politicians, pundits, and media have responded with skepticism to Moscow's Tuesday announcement it's pulling away troops from the Ukrainian border, insisting they need to verify the forces are heading away from Ukraine. Earlier in the day, Russia said its military units began returning to their bases as the largest-scale joint exercises were wrapping up in Belarus, close to its border with Ukraine. Britain's Prime Minister Boris Johnson produced one of the harshest statements accusing Moscow of sending mixed messages with its behavior, citing unspecified intelligence allegedly available to London. He insisted that Russia's military activity still looked as if it was preparing to invade its neighbor. So, and then I guess this is what he said. We've got Russian field hospitals being constructed near the border with Ukraine and Belarus that can only be construed as preparation for an invasion, Johnson said. You've got more battalion tactical groups actually been brought closer to the border with Ukraine, according to the intelligence that we're seeing. And then it goes on, cautious optimism has been expressed by NATO's boss, Jens Stoltenberg, who said there were signs coming from Moscow about the willingness to continue to engage in diplomatic efforts. However, the bloc still wants to see a significant and enduring withdrawal of forces, troops, and the heavy equipment by Russia away from the Ukrainian border, he added. So, whatever. And then, of course, we got to hear what Mr. Potato Head has to say about all this. What do you got to say, Mr. Potato Head? Well, here it says U.S. President Joe Biden has reacted to Moscow's announcement that Russian had begun, to leave the Ukrainian border after military exercises, telling reporters on Tuesday that the U.S. has not verified the information. Biden continued to insist an invasion of Ukraine could still happen, saying at the brief White House appearance that Americans should follow his previous orders and leave the country. He claimed some 150,000 Russian troops continue encircling Ukraine. I wonder if that's like around Jericho or something, if they're blowing trumpets. Anyway, without providing any evidence for the numbers cited. So, yeah. Anyway, Russian troops leaving Ukraine would be good, but we have not yet verified it, Biden said. He did not take questions following his speech. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Anyway, that was all the articles that I had pulled up. We have some coffee and some tasty e-cig and fun times. Like I say, I don't think Russia's intention is to invade. Hey, I could be wrong, but I don't think that is what they had in mind. And I think the U.S. really wants something like that to at least appear to happen. And so that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't write it off yet. I wouldn't write it off, but at the same time understand that, there's a lot of stories being made up. And there are even individuals in the Ukraine that are saying, hey, it doesn't look like they're intending to do anything. Whatever, Like I say, they really need war. Their buddies had all that major money. Hang on. Their buddies had all that major money coming in for all that time, and then all of a sudden it just dried up. So they have to get that back up flowing. Plus, that's often major military conflict is often one of the things produced by major economic woes. So, kind of par for the course. So, we'll see. Like I say, I know the U.S. wants it, but of course the U.S. wants to make it appear that Russia started it. So, anyway, is what it is. The U.S. wants to go to war with everybody, including its own people. So, it's crazy. And I have to add this. One of the largest reasons why we are not as prepared militarily as what we should be and what we could have been is because for quite a while, and I would go as far to say decades with an S, the U.S. government has kind of turned inward and focused more on its own people than what it has even other nations. Now, of course, they've been involved for decades, and hell, a couple decades alone just in the last squabble. But there was plenty more before that. There was a bunch of stuff in South America and all of that. Then of course we had Vietnam even before that. It's just kind of never ending. But the times of the major economic woes, say Great Depression time, right? Stuff like that. When times are like that economically around the world, that's when you get world wars. And so that's what I'm concerned of. And damn well we've got a dumb enough administration to cause one. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. Canada makes new offer to Ukraine. I covered that one. Rogue rocket to hit moon is misidentified. So in other words, it's not one from. This is the claim. It's not one from SpaceX now. It's one from China. Now I don't know if that means in particular whether China put it in space, or if like everything else, it was just made in China. Russia prepared to fire. I covered that one. Sorry. Germany calls on Putin to untie noose. France tells citizens to stock up on food and water. And this involves because of fear-mongering over Russian invasion. Mexican drug cartel shares video of hitman eating rival's heart. That's kind of harsh. Germany running out of natural gas. There's this country, that's got a whole damn bunch of it right there at your country, but you're giving them a bunch of crap. Just saying. Russia announces troop withdrawal. I did cover that one. Ukraine issues rebuke to the U.S. And I should have had that one up earlier when I was talking about that. But the headline here, down at the bottom, is Ukraine slams U.S. prediction of imminent Russian invasion. I missed that one when I was putting up articles to talk about. Yeah, that, that, like I said, they're flat out saying, look, Russia is not going to invade. Now, there are some in the Ukrainian government that are like, but I don't think Russia's about to invade. Our former president surrounded after U.S. request. That was, where was he? Honduran president, Juan Orlando Hernandez. Covered that. Didn't I? Yeah, I talked about that. Woke psychodrama hurts West, cabinet minister warns. West has been destroyed without a shot fired, says Russia. Gotta love it. Trump gives backing to French presidential hopeful. Banks spend big bucks on coal projects, says a study. And this wasn't here. I can't remember. I think it was over, I want to say, hell, I don't want to say because I don't remember if it was Europe or Asia. One of the two. Drugs in rivers threaten humans and nature, a study warns. Well, yeah. They're not talking about somebody dumping their bag of weed down the toilet or something. They're talking about people's medicines. Because just because you take those by the mouth doesn't mean you don't exit something. And some of the things that exit from you get into the water supply. Well, they don't easily get out of the water supply. And some of those things, medications, can stick around for quite a while. So, judge names reason for John McAfee's death. I'm still not 100% convinced. U.S. Navy engineer admits selling submarine secrets. Buffett scores big with $1 billion, Buffett scores big with $1 billion Activision stake ahead of Microsoft deal. Trump's longtime accountants sever ties. Russian parliament urges Putin to recognize Donbass. Interpol issues red notice for Canadians over gangster's murder. Education charity recommends kids drop Mr. and Mrs. at school. Think that's bizarre. A historic mega drought plaguing America's Southwest. Now remember that because, they were already low on water. And considering they didn't really get enough water, they might be in some serious, serious trouble this summer. Noisy EU city turns to sound radars. Defense tech firm unveils airborne microwave drone killer. We all need a couple of those. NATO cautiously optimistic amid Russian troop withdrawal. I don't know if I covered this one or not. Ukraine responds to Russian troop withdrawal, says the media. I don't know if I said that one. Israel offers Arab state the opportunity to tackle Iran together. VR-related insurance claims, that's virtual reality, or the headsets, the claims rise by 31% in 2021. I guess people getting injured with, playing with VR headsets on, slamming their heads into stuff. I bet it happens. I bet it's funny, at least to watch. Officers return to school corridors after defund the police failure. I wasn't laughing about that. That would be kind of funny. Elon Musk gives $5.7 billion to charity. Zelensky tells Ukrainian elites to come home in the next 24 hours. I think Zelensky is playing the U.S. part, if I'm not mistaken, but I think there's others in the Ukrainian government that's not buying it. A number of New York City workers fired over COVID jab mandate revealed. AI learns how to flirt with users. Russia explains why it snubbed OSCE consultations called by Ukraine. Putin comments on calls to recognize Donbass. U.S. has new Ukraine coup plot theory, says the media. They'll just make something else up. They don't care. A majority of white-collar workers not eager to return to office full-time, says a poll. A new popular game accused of stealing Native American culture. Can anybody do anything anymore, or do we have to just do video games have to be like stick figures so not to offend anybody, right? But it has to be like gender neutral, fluid stick figures. So they got to be all like fluid like and shimmery, and I don't know. Would that offend? That would probably offend somebody. I don't know. Prince Andrew settles sex abuse lawsuit, says reports. Imagine that. Virgin Galactic sells tickets to space. Yeah, I can't afford one either, don't worry. Not that I would go. No, thank you. But hey, at least that's not the giant space penis. That's the good thing. At least it's not the giant space penis. I actually think that one's cool when it goes up and the way it comes back down. That's of course Richard Branson's ship. And I think that one's actually a lot more cool to watch than Bezos's big phallics. Anyway, hundreds of birds mysteriously plummet from sky. 4 dead, 17 missing in disaster at sea. Nurses walk out to protest low pay and pandemic workload. Let's see. Covered that. Putin and Scholz call for diplomacy after Russia announces troop withdrawal. Musk's Neuralink confirms monkey deaths. I covered that. Actor sentenced to 20 years over massive Hollywood Ponzi scheme. Covered that. The police chief resigning. Ukraine refuses to implement Donbass deal on Russian terms. Gunmaker settles landmark lawsuit with mass shooting families. This was the big lawsuit with Remington from the Sandy Hook. So, Russia won't invade Ukraine via Belarus, says Kiev. U.S. alarmed by China's support for Russia, says the Pentagon. I don't understand why they're alarmed by that. Why would that remotely even surprise you? I don't know. We got some real bright fellers working there in the Pentagon. Russian invasion not on the cards, says Zelensky ally. Oh, I covered that one. Sorry. Alec Baldwin sued in shooting of cinematographer. That's just a whole nother bag of kittens. Biden to snub Ukrainian invitation. West has doubts over Russian troop withdrawal from Ukraine border. I think I covered that one. Let's see. Kremlin tells Ukraine to set alarm for Russian invasion. So there's definitely fearmongers, but at the same time, there's other individuals within the Ukrainian government that's like, what are you talking about, dude? Ukraine reports massive cyber attack. Of course. It's got to be Russia. I know. Give, send, go. By the way, that's backup. That is backup. Okay, I'll look in just a moment. Give, send, go is backup. And the Freedom Convoy is backup. It's right here in backup. So they are good for the moment. Oh, thank you, Charles. That what you were talking about, babe? Oh, okay. Thank you, Charles. Yeah, so I think you're going to see a lot of cyber stuff go on. Probably even some happening in the U.S. beyond what happened with Give, Send, Go. Because, I mean, come on. I think we all know. But I'm surprised they didn't blame that on Russia, actually. Now that I think about it, I'm surprised that hadn't already been blamed on Russia. It was Russia that did it. But hell, Canada was trying to tie Russia into being the cause of the convoy. That was kind of crazy. Mystery U.S. helicopter lands on Ukraine-Poland border. Let's see. And it from my understanding, it was likely medical related. So, in other words, somebody needed medical attention. Zuckerberg gives Facebook employees a new name. Yep, sure did. I can't remember. I read. It's not metabytes. No, I can't remember what it is. Metaviruses, maybe? Let's see. Zero Hedge accused of spreading Russian propaganda. I covered that. Let's see. Another top CNN executive resigns. So there you go. And that was, that came out right as I started doing the show. Actually, as I was doing the show. Anyway, that's what I got for you. I'm going to jump on out of here and chillax the rest of the evening. Anyway, I hope everybody has a good night. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. I hope to see you then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.